Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. So today is going to be the last Yojo June, of course, 24th of June. It's the last one and there was some pretty interesting stuff. We got 5 pre-orders, we have some name reveals, we have also some digital renders. So without further ado, let's jump into this last episode of Yojo June. So let's start by the first figure that is going up for pre-order today, and this is of course of Iceberg. So of course everybody knows my love for the 1986 line of figures. So yeah, I'm definitely happy to get it. I like the fact of getting this extra snowboard. I think it's pretty cool. But let's be honest, it does not really feel very military. This kind of stuff would be for some kind of guy who does like to ride. And of course, there's a little caviar or little Easter egg, if we can call it like that. And it's, of course, the iceberg on the underneath of the snowboard. So let's continue with some more pictures. I'm looking at the face, and the head sculpt reminds me some kind of actor, but I cannot put my thumb on who it could be. So let me know in the comment section if you know who this is. Of course, I waited for them to go up on pre-order. I haven't ordered any, but Entertainment Earth, like I have access for the professional, I was able to go and pick up some of the pictures, and I'm really digging what they did with this figure. And I'm kind of impatient to get him. From what I understand, he's going to be coming out towards the end of the year to go with the Snowcat and the other parts. So, of course, here's a picture of the box. I didn't take the one from behind on this one. For the other ones, I did. But there's no spoilers about future figures. Now, I do have a big issue with the fact of getting a snowboard in olive green when you should be having this white, because yeah, this would stick out. So not the best camouflage, I would say. They could have. I can understand that the white flag would have not, the white star, sorry, would have not sticked out. The G.I. Joe logo could have been printed into another color, and have all of this white would have made more sense. Anyway, let's move on to the next figure, and this is Rugged Duke. So of course I give you already my thoughts about this figure, and I haven't changed them, but now we have some other cool pictures of him going into action, and of course here we have a very close-up of the figure itself, and I must say he does look pretty neat. I'm not a fan of the Hauser, and his grade over here does not make sense at all, because those things would not be there. There would be a US flag on one of the sides and maybe a patch, but I can understand that Hasbro doesn't want to pay the US Army any copyrights for every logo that is for a tier 1 operator, but you could have created something, so it does really feel weird to see that he has E8 pay grade over there, and of course Hauser over there, would that not where it would be, would have a G.I. Joe logo and a US flag, would have made more sense. Now, if you're looking at this figure and you're like, geez, this guy looks familiar, and yes, he does, because ta-da! Chris Hemsworth has joined the G.I. Joe team. Well, of course, I think Chris Hemsworth is a way better actor than, of course, Channing Tatum. Afterwards, everybody can agree or disagree with me. Let me know in the comment section. But come on, this is exactly the character he plays in Extraction, the movie on Netflix. They did two movies. It feels more like a season. The first movie was kind of interesting. The second one was meh. But again, come on. I mean, the hair over here, okay, it's not on the same side. It should be over here. But come on, the haircut looks the same. The beard cut looks the same. I'm just seeing this scene, and I'm like, reminds me of when Thor lands in Wakanda and talks with Steve Rogers, and he said, "Oh, you have a new haircut," and Chris Hemsworth answers back to Cap and says, "Hey, you're copying my beard." And I mean, come on, this looks exactly in the same way as this actor. So of course, Chris Hemsworth has joined the G.I. Joe team. Now, let's move on to some other of the details of this figure. So mostly this is like you would get for a digital render. Of course, we recognize the same pistols that we get with Hawk with the MMS. There's a little backpack who goes on to the back of it. We have this gun that is ridiculous. The knife does make a lot of sense, and of course, still regretting that we're not getting something else than this rifle over here. So I decided to take these two pictures because, as you can see, he has this pay grade over here, or the grade he has does not make sense and would not be put up on here. Again, I would have preferred a G.I. Joe logo, a US flag. I mean, those are not copyrighted. I can guess this is a fake little patch for whatever unit he is in. He was teasing Rangers, and something that else was talked by them when they were doing it. Of course, you have a little star over there, so of course those patches could have been replaced. Like I said, I would have preferred the G.I. Joe logo and of course a US flag on the other side, but again, this is something that is missing with it. Now, the thing who was very interesting about this figure here is that they were talking that this is where they wanted to go with the line at the beginning and not go into the sci-fi stuff that they did and course corrected later on. So let me know which one you think was better, the sci-fi or the real world versions of these figures. So I put the back of the box also on again. Normally Hasbro would put us a little tease of something over here, but not much. But again, you're going into the desert look. Like I said, I'm surprised they teased and talked about the deserts again on this one here. And I don't understand why they didn't go for desert pants. Of course, I forgot. Like I said, I wanted to give you a picture also of the back of the box, and I didn't put it in the right order. But again, you can see this is really sticking out and should have been painted white. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or not. Now, moving over, here is a print screen that I did with this guy over here, and this is the Toxo Viper. So I do like the ideas with the gas coming out. All of this gives me the vibe of this new technology that Cobra has. Maybe not the same gas with the DIR system that they have with Crystal Ball, but again, I do dig the figure. I do think he looks pretty amazing, and I mean, over here, the look of this guy, you have the impression that like they were saying, that he's inhaled too much of that gas that he's doing. But again, you could also use him with the mole rats, with this kind of stuff. This is the transformation on his face strip before he goes into growing those crystals out of his head. So yeah, it does look pretty neat. I'd be kind of curious to see if the head moves or if you can remove it. That's something to see. I do like the figure. I think they did a strict minimum to upgrade it into a classified version of it, but you could also very easily go into a retro line. Again, we have the back of the production box over here, and of course we see there is no of course, tease, who's a bit of a shame. I think they should go on to it to tease us some stuff or put some kind of little detail over there to make us, oh look, and try to start scratching our heads to know what's going on. So now moving on to my favorite character that is going up for pre-order, and this is of course Miss Armada. And I must say that I really dig what they did. Of course, I didn't take all the stock pictures that Hasbro put up, but I did take some from Entertainment Earth. Of course, here we have the mask over here, and of course, B-Max said, oh, I'm going to tell you about this mask. And the way he was talking about it, it was going to be a major reveal or some kind of stuff to go with Ancestry. And no, she just stole it from a museum. Sorry, I should have said spoiler. So here is the picture of her, as you can see. So you can remove the headpiece in the same way that you could do with Scarlet. As you can see, she has some money to flash around, who's a nice little accessory, but I don't understand the use of it. The little goggles over here do work pretty neat, and I must say that she does look pretty tanned, a lot more than on the digital render. But something new I've noticed, she also has green eyes, so this is what I'm saying. I'm really curious to see if they're going to upgrade their file card. They kind of did, because we kind of have they posted it. I did a print screen of it, and we're going to have a look at it. Over here we have her with a mask that she stole, that I think is a disappointing story. They could have been way better things to do with it, then should put this like this. Of course, again, we have no really teasers in the back over here, who's a huge disappointment. Now, of course, you're going to be noticing that these figures must be already one in production, because this is a little logo or paper that you will have a sticker on the ones from China, and again, it's coming out of China and not from the fabric in Vietnam. Looks like the retros are the only ones coming from there for now. So of course, here is file card that they decided, so we can do a print screen and we can have a look at it. Now, I'm not going to add this one to my Facebook page or the one that we have for Cinetes dude there, that I really don't care, and even after hearing about it, I care even less. So of course, we do have some interesting parts about her. She's counterintelligence, she's a lieutenant with the Iron Grenadiers, and she was born in England. And of course, if we read a bit, born from a wealthy English family that relocated to Transcarpathia. Lillian was orphaned at a young age and grew up on the streets of the capital, always in the shadows of the silent castle. Straight up. So anyway, so she was from a wealthy English family, and again, I do think that when I was talking about it, that she may have Indian or Pakistani, I would say more Indian descent, would make it logic that she could come from a wealthy English family who moved from India back in the day to the UK. So of course, this is a very interesting character, and I cannot wait for them. They'll be posting it later on this week to have a closer look at all the info on this figure and have something a bit better than this print screen that I got. So here we go for our whatever this thing is. And again, they posted some pictures. There are some other stock pictures, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And yeah, no, I mean, what is this supposed to be? Blue Beetle parts? What is this? Steampunk or some kind of other part? Is Robocop, or is it Terminator, or is it They Live by the looks of it? But when I'm looking at a closer picture, it's not. So he's supposed to be some kind of wealthy guy from Transylvania, wherever they are. As you can see, I cannot get my head wrapped around this guy. And yeah, he got attacked. Destro went after him because he kind of betrayed, and they decided, well, it was Miss Armada that blew him up. We can see that in the file card. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, but I have no attach to this character. I didn't know him before. Now he's some kind of guy who's going to lead his allegiance to Cobra Commander because he wants to get revenge on Destro. He can control people with this kind of string that he fires out, and he can bring back people to life. Yeah, you have this extra hand behind, and frankly, no. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with me, but I just don't. I just cannot get my hand around this figure. It's, yeah, he's supposed to have escape. He built himself up. It's Robocop. Yeah, no, and no. So yeah, I don't know. I will pick him up because I don't want to have a missing part in my collection. But frankly, I should. Don't understand, or it's Trapjaw because he has this stuff. I also was thinking about Metallo, the enemy of Superman, who is also half human and robot, who looks exactly like this. If you think about any other comics or any other character that he reminds you of, but frankly, yeah, no. I cannot get my head around it, and God knows I'm really somebody who is very tolerant towards Cobra because they have a lot of ridiculous stuff, but this one is even worse than having dinosaurs. So of course, back of the box, still no spoilers, a bit of a shame, but again, it's really, really weird. So as you can see, so the guy's called Summer Axel, and he was born in Darklonia, who's the place where we have Darklon from, and all of this kind of outside of it. But I do find it very strange because Destro and the Silent Castle are over there, but if you really think about it, Destro is Scottish and he has his castle in Scotland, and okay, maybe he moved there because he's interested in taking over, and this is what they're talking about, that they have with Darklon and him have conquered this Darklonia part of the world who's supposed to be close to Europe, and they want to invade Europe, and that's never going to happen, and I just cannot get my head around it. Let me know in the comment section if you are a fan of it or not, and if I'm wrong about why I just feel like, this figure is not working for me. So, like I said, all of these go up for pre-order today at 1 p.m. ET or 7 p.m. Local time in Europe, and of course these can be all over the place and you can pick them up wherever you want. Now let's jump into the render reveals. So of course the first one we get is the ones we got before, and it's going to be all the retro line figures. So of course we get Lieutenant Falcon, who comes with a markage and has a lot of similarities with the one that came out back in 1987, if I'm not mistaken. Or, yeah, I think it was 87. I have a little blank right now, I'm very tired. And have some things to take care of, and this is wherefore my brain is not working as good as it should be. So yes, looking forward for this one. Then of course the second render we have is from the Valkyries, and again this has nothing to do in the retro line. This has nothing to do, it was not in the original line. This should have been moved to the mass device, and of course it's a cheap repaint of what we already got from it, minus the backpack, who's not there. So maybe they will add this backpack to this character later on, and or they're going to add maybe a head, I don't know, to if you decide to make her of a different ethnicity. But frankly, you can still, if I'm not mistaken, you may be still able to get those Valkyrie packs. I know they have them in Europe, or in England I think they still have them on Hasbro Pulse, but this pack was literally sold for clearance on Hasbro Pulse, so going with this, yeah. And again, this should be in the mass device. It would make sense that these female troopers that they had were more in the cartoon than anywhere else. So this should have been in the mass device line and not in the retro line. Now, get into the favorite character that I was wanting for a very long time, and this is Retro Flash. And I do have some issues with this Retro Flash. The fact that he has a holster with a pistol disturbs me because this is not the retro line figure. You could have put him another belt on, but I guess it must be similar to the one that comes with Grand Slam, so I guess it was an easy dog that you're taking and exchanging the heads and doing some little paint job differences between those two figures. But again, if you're going on a retro figure, try to stick, and this is what Lenny was saying, we're giving certain accessories. I'm spoiling a video that I'm doing, who are not here either, who is counterproductive to what Lenny said. Lenny said, we do the retros, they're going to look the most similar to the ones that came out back in the days. Of course, like I said, the holster could have been removed. It's not like Hasbro doesn't have any belts with no holster on it and no need of pistol, but there's some missing accessories that Lenny said, and he said it more than once. The retro figures come with a certain type of hands, and they're not there. So, yeah. Again, Hasbro cannot even follow their logic in what their playbook. So again, this is a bit of a sad part about them doing it. I'm very happy for the figure. It's not going to disturb me, the pistol. But I think that if you're going to apply rules, apply them properly and don't come out with this kind of stuff. Now, of course, if you've been following me, you know that I already talked about Tomb Raider crossover with G.I. Joe, and somebody said it was going to be a video game, and I had high doubts about it, and well, I was right, because it's going to be a figure. So, of course, as you can see, there's some gear that was already used. You have some of the climbing tools over here who are being already used. I guess the pistols have already been reused, so this looks to be a deluxe figure, so that's going to be around $45, maybe $50. And of course you get some bow and arrow. You get the possibility to put the arrows in. As you can see, you have a little communication link pad with the G.I. Joe logo, and if you don't want to have it, this comes off, and then you can decide to have her in her own universe. But I do like the idea of having her around. And again, it looks like these characters, like Action Man, has an issue. As you can see here, you have a part for a knife. Now, the knife was over here, looks like some kind of special thing that you needed to pick up to open, or a growl that you had to pick up. But this does not fit over here, and there's a missing knife over here, and this should be for that knife, but I don't see it. Maybe they might add it on when they're going to present this figure. So they said this one is coming out for Comic-Con. And coming out? It will be presented at Comic-Con, so that's going to be in about 1 month's time. So I'll be doing a video when they're going to be talking about it. But again, I like the idea. I don't mind the crossovers. It is also an easy pass if you don't want to have any crossover figures. I think it is nice to have this character, and she will go out pretty well hanging out with Action Man, or if they do Mask figures like they did in the 25th anniversary line, this would be perfect to have on the shelf with Action Man and everything else. So yeah, that is something that I'm kind of looking forward to, and I would like to see what they did. And she could be a retro card. She has the fist and the regular hands. Oops, I spoiled my future video. Now, of course, it couldn't be a Yojo June without name reveals, and we got some interesting items. At least one that is kind of very exciting for me, but not in the way the final product will look. So, of course, we are going to get the double pack with Mutt and Junkyard and Footloose from the Mad Marauders, or Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders, who were the last ones who were missing in the original line. So that's cool. They're going to do a double pack. Now, be kind of really curious to see how they're going to do it, because the Mutt and Junkyard came with a lot of hands, and I'm kind of curious to see if Hasbro is going to put all those hands and make this kind of box set with all the hands and all the accessories, or are they going to tone them down and put the strict minimum? And of course, Footloose we already have in the classified line, and it's going to be a basic simple repaint. So yeah, this one I'm looking forward to. The next one is this one over here, and this is something that I am very impatient to see, and I would like to see if they're going to do anything else. So we're going to get a repaint of the battle armor, the escape one that they did, who is currently sold out, and they're going to make it red for the Baron Ironblood. Now, I'm kind of surprised they didn't go into the Action Force. I know that it is Valaverse who has the trademark for the Action Force. So I'm kind of curious, can they go with the logos? Can they use what they're doing over here? Can they make him part of the enemy? And if they can, because they have the license for it, does that mean we're going to be finally seeing some Action Force figures more than Chut Quarrel? Because that would be something that would really work for me, and I would dig that a lot. Now, for the last one that they decided to reveal, and this is where I believe that a lot of people would be happy for not having a HasLab this year, is they're coming out with Triple T. Now, they were talking that Sergeant Slaughter would fit in it. They were saying that it was an update updated version, and they were talking about desert, so it should have some extra armor on it. So I'm be kind of curious to see what they went with. They said also that you can remove the armor so it looks more like the Triple T, but if it's going to be desert, it's going to be a tan version, or coyote camouflage like they call it, or coyote color to it, and it's not going to be white. So I'm kind of curious. I believe that BM said it was going to be also shown at the Comic-Con booth, so that's going to be interesting to see what we have. And with this, I am finishing the Yojo June 2026. So overall, I think there were some interesting parts. There is some stuff that needs to be trashed. There's some stuff also that Hasbro needs to sort out, because I mean, if you can't even follow your playbook and cannot follow that and bring us what you are saying that you're doing with certain lines of figures, it's just mind-blowing for it. So of course, am I going to pre-order those figures? The answer is no. I'm going to wait for them to go on clearance. I was struck the other day. There was an Amazon Prime special day where they were giving away figures for about $18 or $17 or $15. Some of the newer ones, I don't remember which ones they were. I already purchased them. So again, I'm just going to wait to see what's going to happen. So what did you think about this Yojo June? Let me know in the comment section. If you have also, are you like me? Are you going to bid against Hasbro? Are you happy with what they presented? What do you think about where the company's going? Let me know in the comment section, and let's start a conversation around our favorite hobby. So that's going to be it for my Yojo June episode 4 and the last one of the season. If you like this kind of videos, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any questions, you can also leave them in the comment section. If you have suggestions, the same. If you want to go and check out my Facebook page, Instagram page, where you can see the file cards, of course that's for Facebook. The links are in the description. And like always, I will wish you a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!